Whoever has ears, let them hear what the Spirit is saying. Now, honestly, this is just one of them spiritual messages and just spirit led message, really. But whoever has ears, let them hear. And, I mean, even as I have a certain information concerning this matter too, I'm truly, truly just being led by the Spirit on certain things that will be said. But, just really want to get into Jesus and how he was speaking in parables. See, the main, like, I would want to say idea of this matter, and I would want to say the keys, spiritual keys of this matter, is that Jesus spoke in parables, and it wasn't unintentional when he did these things. Many people don't really know why he did what he did, and certain people will get revelation from this, and others, will try to take from this, and either way it goes, God will judge. But anyhow, yeah, I mean, Jesus really did speak in parables, to certain people, man. And man, it even talks about even in the New Testament, more or less too. And you gotta, get more of this stuff for yourself, more or less too. But I'm just truly being led by the Spirit. It talks about how Jesus spoke all these things to the crowd in parables. He did not say anything to them without using a parable. I'm gonna repeat that as I'm feeling and being also led. But Jesus spoke all these things to the crowd in parables. He did not say anything to them without using a parable. So, man, I mean, this stuff is very deep, because it's like Jesus Christ did this stuff intentionally on a spiritual level, though. And man, that even gets into, as I'm being led by the Spirit, crowds following behind Jesus. But, Jesus was already aware of people's intentions, and that kind of gets into this parable thing, because you got to understand that Jesus Christ did speak in parables. And man, I mean, very few particular people were meant to hear, as I mentioned earlier, of hear, whoever has ears, let them hear. So Jesus is really very much connected to this type of matter as well, man, because he knew like who would truly hear him in the Spirit, and who would not like harden their heart towards him and the truth of God, man. And this stuff is very deep, man, because many people still don't know why Jesus spoke in parables. But yeah, I mean, he already knew who would harden their heart towards him and God's truth. So he had to speak in parables concerning many, many people. And in others, he spoke in many different ways. But the point is that he still not only was who he said he was, but I mean, man, like, the words of Jesus is just truly living water, man. You got to understand that stuff, man. And this stuff is very, very real, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And he also spoke, describing heaven as in the hidden treasure. This stuff is in the New Testament, more or less. There's many parables he spoke concerning different matters, describing the laws being redeemed. That's in Luke. And then about love and forgiveness, as in the unforgiven servant. And then there's all these other ways that he spoke in parables. I'm just giving you a little information concerning that I have concerning this, but more or less I'm truly, truly being led by the Spirit as well. But yeah, Jesus speaking in parables, man, and whoever has ears, let them hear what the Spirit is saying, not what your emotions are saying, and not what all this other stuff is saying, but what the Spirit is saying. Hallelujah. So, this stuff, man, this, once again, as God is leading me, this stuff is truly not about being perfect, but it's about hearing what the Spirit is saying and then obeying, obeying what God is saying to you concerning the Spirit, Because once again, Jesus did speak in parables for many reasons that I already gave you. And like him speaking in parables has to deal with people hardening their hearts towards the truth of God. And Jesus already seen through this stuff, you know. He already did. I'm being very real with you. And this stuff is not a game, because God is still operating, because he is the same today and forevermore. That's what God says. So man, this stuff is not a game. Like, God is still saying, whoever has ears, let them hear what the Spirit is saying. So this stuff is real, man. And Jesus still sees through people who really want to hear his truth and actually obey him. And he knows the difference between if you're just, you know, hearing it in vain or actually hearing it in the Spirit. And that's more or less what this parable stuff has to deal with, man. And there's much more revelation, but I can only get into so much concerning this matter as the Spirit of God is leading me concerning this. But with all that being said, yeah, whoever has ears, let them hear what the Spirit is saying, because Jesus spoke in many parables intentionally on a spiritual assignment from God, man. And many people just don't understand this stuff, but Jesus was not no normal man, you know what I'm saying? He was more than a prophet, is what you gotta understand, for you certain people and religious people out there who just, you know, get caught up with that stuff, man, you know. But with all that being said, yeah, this is the reason why Jesus spoke in parables. And you religious people, as he's leading me to say before I close this out, yeah, you religious people will never understand the real Jesus. You just won't, because, you know, your religion and you're religious. And God is against that. The God of Israel is against that. The real Jesus is against that. And man, this stuff is deep. So with all that being said, though,